You're listening to High Ham Hindu Radio on Atlanta 1100 AM.
Welcome back, Indie World.
Bow!
Hey, we got something real special for you right now.
Yes, yes.
We got two gentlemen in the studio, two producer engineers extraordinaire. And I was reading the first guest, Cortez Farris bio, and I was blown away by the names when I saw his bio. I was like, man, this guy's worked with everybody.
I got some things to talk about that, but go ahead, Jonathan, do your thing,
okay.
Brother.
So we've got with us Cortez Farris and Alex Cavender. How you guys doing?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Doing really good.
Good. So these guys are affiliated with Robot City Studios here in Atlanta. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Robot City, when it got started, and what kind of work you guys do?
All right. Well, Robot City is a studio that I actually developed the concept. It's not a concept of a studio, but the inner workings of the concept of Robot City in New York, and brought it to Atlanta circa 2008. And what it is, basically, it's a recording studio geared towards not only recording and producing really high-quality music sonically, but also developing interns and apprentices and mentors through a program that we have within the studio called AMP. And that's Atlanta's Mentoring Music Production Program, where we basically teach people in the art of engineering and production within the studio, hands-on, and, try and develop people's skills as engineers and producers.
Now, I'm going to ask you a very elementary question because everybody might not know. Explain the role of a producer and what is an engineer versus a producer during a session or whatever?
Sure. Well, just like this radio program, it has a producer and an engineer, someone that handles the technical aspects of getting what we're doing here on the air. We also have a producer that handles the production of the talent and the engineer and everything that goes with it. The same happens in music, where you have an engineer whose responsibility is to translate the producer and the artist's work technically and into a way where commercially we get a record out of it. So, and the producer's job is to basically manage that whole process of engineers, artists, the record company, all of that together, and everything has a little bit of idiosyncrasies pertaining to each producer, but at the end of the day, the job is to manage that particular project as a producer. And like I said, the engineer's role is to handle everything technical.
Now, you mentioned the AMP program, and I understand that Alex completed the AMP program, and Alex, if you could just tell us what that was like for you, and especially where you came from within the industry before going into AMP, and then what you got out of it.
Yeah, so basically the AMP program is basically a 6-month program for people that are pretty new to engineering. What you actually do is you will be in real sessions with real clients. You're going to spend a lot of time learning, setting levels, how to place mics, what the different types of microphones are, how to actually use Pro Tools, and run a session smoothly, so that when you're done with the program, you'll be getting work in the industry. You'll be actually able to work at either our studio, Robot City, or at other studios in Atlanta, all around the world. When I started out, I'm originally from Vermont, and I moved down here in 2011. My experience was pretty much just what I had taught myself. Hadn't really ever worked in a professional studio or even been in one. But, within about 6 months, I did sessions with T.I.'s brother, working with Cortez. I did commercials for Gladys and Ron Chicken and Waffles.
Yum.
So I was doing, I was getting work in the industry thanks to the program.
So Alex, being from Vermont, how did you become interested in the entertainment field in this art?
I've always been interested in music, but I didn't really being from Vermont, there's like I think one studio. There's not really a lot going on with music.
Okay.
As far as the industry, I never stepped foot in a studio. I mean, as far as music background, I really didn't have a lot of formal training at all.
So, why did you decide to start the AMP program, Cortez?
Well, I come from I'm going to say old school engineering background, where you start off as an intern and you work your way up through the rankings of the whole process. And throughout that whole scenario of me starting as an intern, becoming an assistant engineer, and I was blessed. I was able to do all this in a recording studio. It's probably one of the best in the world, the Hit Factory Recording Studios.
Wow.
In New York City. And I was blessed to have had mentors, everybody from Wyclef to Trackmasters, very influential producers and artists and engineers that I worked up under. So I saw the value in, being someone's apprentice. At the time, it was really hard work because everyone knows the apprentice. You get coffee, you do all the things as an intern, and everybody remembers the making of the band when Puff made those guys go to
get that cheesecake, boy. Go get that cheesecake for Diddy.
But that was real, and I lived that. I literally lived that. But I also saw the value in that. So. As I grew in my career, I was like, wow, well, how can I turn, and also the industry being such, going, on its heels economically and stuff like that, I had to figure out a new way to make my studio viable. So teaching was very important, and I was able to develop this program within the studio because a lot of students, I used to teach at the Art Institute in New York, and a lot of my students after class was like, Mr. Farris, how can I get an intern at your studio? I was like, well, it didn't make sense. So I was like, why don't I just start a school, quote unquote, within the studio where students are bypassing all the 30 students in a classroom, everyone fighting to get into the lab. Why don't I just develop it in the studio where you get hands-on, working with real clients. Yeah. And you feel like you're the engineer as opposed to a student. Yeah. And that's the basics of how I started.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I got a question. And I don't know if y'all have checked out our site. Make sure you go to IamIndieRadio.com to check out the site and get the information on today's guest. Brother Cortez, how do you get your afro to stay so clean, brother? I mean, I don't think you see it up here because he had the hat on the picture, but boy, this boy afro got a slit in it.
It's one of those things where it takes work. It's like,
come on, it's so cool, bro.
And after a while, with anything, it takes practice,
It takes practice. You got to pick it 15 times to the left.
But I got the right amount of picks.
You got the right amount of picks
to do it. So you know what I'm saying.
Cool.
So, one thing about Atlanta and probably a lot of other cities is if you go to a restaurant, there's a good chance that your waiter might be a producer. He'll tell you he's a producer. So there are a lot of people out there that want to get into the business. And Cortez, as an experienced person, what advice would you give an up-and-coming producer who doesn't have a track record, has never had a placement to try to get their break into the industry?
Yeah. Well, I would say information, knowledge. Everyone says knowledge is king, and it's true. You got to inform yourself about whatever it is. If you're trying to be the best rapper, the best engineer, whatever it is, educate yourself. There's too many people that are saying they understand the game. Right. My biggest thing I always say, I'm a businessman. I know this. At the end of the day, it's like, talking about business is not business. Talking about the industry doesn't make you in the industry. So I implore people to educate themselves, and it's not all about going to a school, a formal school, or even going to my program. Internet is huge. There's so much information. I see students come into my program, and they'll be like, they learn stuff on YouTube. So education is important.
And Cortez, You worked with Chico DeBarge, right?
Yes.
Okay, and he's from the D, from my town, from Detroit.
Okay.
How was it working with him?
It was great. Well, let me make this clarification because I made the same mistake. He's actually from Grand Rapids.
Well, his family is from Detroit.
And I don't know. I'm just playing with
claim
you.
everybody.
But, but his whole family has been a blessing to work with. I actually met Chico via his older brother, El DeBarge. El took me under his wing for about a year and some change. And just basically schooled me on the game. He was one of my great mentors.
Okay.
And God bless him because he really, really taught me the good side and the bad side. And he was always talking about, Tess, you got to meet my younger brother, blah, blah, blah. Wow. He's so cool. Y'all going to hit it off as soon as me and Chico met.
So I have to ask, were you in the Unsung DeBarge episode?
Nah. I'm not that important to the family, but you know what I'm saying. But
you are important.
Now, let me ask you this question. Is that really falsetto he sings, or that's his natural?
Who, El or Chico?
El.
Oh, yeah. El is...
That's not his falsetto? That's real?
That's very real.
Like, he be up there, bro.
Yeah, he's a vet.
El DeBarge.
Well, let's check out Math by Chico DeBarge.
Talib Kweli, that's what I'm talking about. Put it together. It's mathematic, scientific, systematic. Yeah, we're trying to break it down a fraction. Trying to make it harder than Chinese arithmetic now, you know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, Chico, see them over there? Them right there. 1, 2, 3, let's go. So pretty. 4, 5, 6, we in the mix. Could you roll with me? Let's see the whole city. We can spend the whole summer. See how many times I go into you like a whole number. Get you high enough to clean sinuses. Plus, you got more pluses than minuses. Got you stuck like an addict with a tragic habit. I'm in your dreams. I'm supreme like mathematics.
I'm like fire, an incredible ride. Head on your shoulder and know how to get by. You got love, you sexy thing. Had to get on top of your belly ring. Soft and wet, you know you are. With the body shaped like a Spanish guitar. Work your math, but don't subtract me. You sexy chocolate, love chemistry. Such a lady outdoors, but in bed you's a freak. So teach a thug how to hold you, girl, and keep you close to me. Oh, love, you got stress on your mind, baby. Just leave your troubles in the past behind. I got so much love to give you, baby. I love your kiss and love, everything is crazy. Work your math, but don't subtract me. You sexy chocolate, love chemistry. Such a lady outdoors, but in bed you's a freak. So teach a thug how to hold you, girl, and keep you close to me. Oh, baby, oh.
No matter what, you can add it up when you back it up. Swear to God, it's harder than calculus or trigonometry. You get on top of me, you get it poppin', work the angles like geometry. Pardon me, but the thoughts that's running through your mind is freaky in mine. You complete me like a number 9. Anything you want, you can have, girl. If you do the half, you do the math, girl.
Work your math, but don't subtract me. You sexy chocolate, love chemistry. Such a lady outdoors, but in bed you's a freak. So teach a thug how to hold you, girl, and keep you close to me. Work your math, but don't subtract me. You sexy chocolate, love chemistry. Such a lady outdoors, but in bed you's a freak. So teach a thug how to hold you, girl, and keep you close to me.
Yeah. Hey, man, so Chico DeBarge featuring Talib Kweli with the math.
D.
Talib Kweli is not from the D. Are you talking about Chico? He ain't from the D either.
Chico.
You're the only one from the D that's on the radio. I just want you to know
I don't
that.
know why you tripping on the D.
It's okay. It's so cold in the D. It's cold. So we back. We back here at I Am Indie Radio, man. So that was a pretty hot cut, man. So did you produce the track and record it, or?
Yeah. I produced it and engineered it.
Okay.
It was actually mixed. I was thinking, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. It was mixed by a guy named. Actually, it was mixed by Jean-Marie Horvat, who's a great mix engineer out of Los Angeles.
Okay.
He's a great friend of mine. But sometimes, as an engineer producer, if I produce it, I don't like to mix it, so I'll send it off.
To get some more ears on it.
Some more ears on it. Yeah.
Nice. Alex, what you got going on, man? What you got going on, bro?
Well, as far as projects at the studio,
Yeah,
we've been working on a lot of projects. Recently, we did a Mountain Dew commercial.
Do the do.
Dark and Lovely, working on a commercial for them.
Okay.
Hair products.
Dark and Lovely.
We've been
That's
working with a
hilarious.
new writer, Tiger the Writer. He's an A-list writer, Tiger the Writer.
Okay.
He's written for Ice Cube. He's done a lot of major projects, and he's been helping us, develop a lot of songs.
The brother of Jazz, a guy from Drew Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Tiger the Writer. What else are we working? Oh, there's a new artist, guys. That's fabulous. Just got signed to Motown.
Okay.
His name's B. Smith, and it's Smith with the Y. SMYTH. Kid is crazy. He's 17, and he's on the heels of taking Chris Brown's.
Watch out, Breezy.
He's with Chris. I'm not going to say Chris got competition, but this kid is really good.
Is he
Check
light
him
skin or
out.
dark skin?
Oh, yeah. I think he's
Okay.
a light skin. But that don't matter. Check him out. B. Smith, and see what you think.
So when I look at you two guys, and if you've been to IamIndieRadio.com, you may have seen their photos, and I think odd couple when I look at the two of you.
Yeah.
So that must tell me that like Robot City Studios and the AMP program is open to people from, all genres of music, all backgrounds. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Well, it's what I tell all my students or people that are mentoring up under me. So, you got to be diverse. It's like they say, in order to make money, you got to just be able to open yourself up to all types of potential money-making ventures. So what I tell my students is if someone comes to you and says, hey, I need to record a rock band, and you're just a hip-hop producer, that's money you've just lost. Yeah. Your inability to say, hey, I can record drums, I can record a bass guitar. And if all you've ever learned was how to program Logic or a drum machine or anything within your genre, you're just losing money. So I try and teach it and tell people to broaden their horizons, think outside of the box, think outside of their genre of music, think outside of their neighborhoods, because it's a big world, and there's just so much diversity. It would be silly just to limit yourself under one genre. Especially as an engineer or producer. Artist, I understand, but a producer, you should be able to, So I look at that and say, that's the type of picture I want to see within the studio, within the production, because everyone has something to bring to the table.
Yeah. I don't want to let you guys go as we get close to wrapping up without letting the indie world out there know if they want to work with Robot City or if they want to get involved in the AMP program. Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about how they can work with you guys?
Anybody that's interested in the AMP program, definitely go to the website, amp.com. That's AMMPP.com. And you can apply online. You can get some more information. We got commercials on there, some examples of our work, links to the Robot City website. Or you can email admissions@amp.com. But it's probably the best way is just to apply directly online.
All right.
That's what's up.
Yeah. You know what, Cortez, there's a question I want to ask you. And a lot of people are familiar with, producer, how they get compensated in the industry and advances and things like that. But engineers, how do they usually get compensated? They work on a flat fee or?
Yeah, it's a flat fee. Generally, it's work for hire. Unless you're someone like, let's say, a Tony Maserati or someone who's got really big influence as an engineer, they can negotiate points and things like that. But for the most part, especially nowadays, it's work for hire, which is cool for engineers because you don't get tangled up in all that, extra stuff like legalities of copyrights and publishing. It's just one flat fee. And we actually manage producers. So any up-and-coming producers or engineers that are looking for management, we also at AMP manage young engineers and producers.
Right. Well, we want to thank you guys for coming by. And just one more time on the way out, let people know how they can get in touch with you. Give your website one more time.
Yeah, it's amp.com, AMMPP.com. Check it out. That's AMMPP.com, amp.com. And, man, Robot City.
All right. Keep up the good work, fellas.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Yeah, thanks so much.
Guys.
All right.